UTV is a prominent house and they've been very keen to work with me. But somehow somebody else ended up picking it up. So I had done 4 books, 2 have been released also, 2 are in process.
What is the deal like? How much have you sold it in?
Come on, Faridoon. I mean, that's a very nice, casual way to ask. I must say, nice try. But, all I can say is it's a good offer. I think Gopal and Aarti are the very critical roles. I mean, especially Gopal's role is a very critical role because both of them are grey characters. Outlook and India Today, these are not small magazines. These are our leading magazines. And they have given many bad reviews to me. And when a bad review is given, I take it. I remember Salman's one scene, Maine Pyar Kiya. I think he's talking to his mother about the girl and chiloing mutter. And he says, Kya wo mutter chilegi? It's such an ordinary scene. But he made it so interesting. We believe that the B and C centers don't really like good stories. But that's not the case. We have to give stories which work for them. And I believe Revolution will work for them.
I've been reading essays written by a writer called Prem Kumar. These are in Devanagari script. They are primarily on prominent Urdu writers in India who have been writing for some time now. And I was reading one of the essays by a noted critic called Gopi Chand Narang Sahab, who has been widely awarded. And उनसे पूछा गया कि that how do you define art? Art का आज के टाइम में अहमियत किसको कहेंगे आप? तो he simply said that जो दिल से निकले और दिल में उतरे. And when we talk about Chetan Bhagat, one can say all sorts of things about the man, about the writer, good things, some of them are bad things at times. But one thing one can't take away from him is that when you read a book written by Chetan Bhagat, दिल में उतरती ज़रूर है. आप एक बार हाथ में ले लें तो आप पढ़े बगैर और ख़त्म किए बगैर, you won't be just putting it down. We have with us Chetan Bhagat once again. Pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you, Faridoon. Always a pleasure to meet you.
कैसे आप react करते हैं इस statement को that which is I think very simply said. You can write I think verbose statements on art and what makes for a good book or a good poetry, but जो दिल से निकले और दिल में उतरे. I think that is
correct.
Which is
I think what he's trying to say is something that makes you feel, something that's written or produced with feeling, and something that creates a feeling in the other person. That is art. So it's a very nice, simple way to put it. I always tell people you don't need an expert to tell you what is art or not. Actually, like you never have कि आज का sunset को 3.5 स्टार मिलेंगे. Because वो sunset है, वो आपको beautiful लग रहा है तो लग रहा है, नहीं लग रहा है तो नहीं लग रहा है.
जी.
लेकिन जो true art है वो it just makes you feel.
Now the latest news about Chetan Bhagat is that his latest novel, in fact, Revolution 2020, has been acquired by UTV for being made into a movie. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
Tell us something about that. How did that really happen?
UTV is a prominent house and they've been very keen to work with me. Siddharth there has been keen to take one of my books and make it into a movie. But somehow somebody else ended up picking it up. So I had done 4 books, 2 have been released also, 2 are in process. So UTV was very keen and this time they said, please give us the book before it releases.
Right.
So I was very hesitant because it's a book and I don't want to, but I gave them like around just 1 week before and they immediately made an offer in 2 days before the release. So I said, let the book come out, let's see whether it's a success or not. And they were very certain about the success. And then, once it came out, they kept their interest. And then I had certain terms, they met them and they were going to be very collaborative that we'll do it together. So yeah, so the deal happened and now they've taken the book. So I guess that makes all 5 books gone to the movies.
Fantastic. So what is the deal like? How much have you sold it in?
Come on, Faridoon. I mean, that's a very nice, casual way to ask. I must say, nice try. But, all I can say is it's a good offer. It's a very respectable number. And because they wanted it soon, I have seen my books converted to film. So it's not like I'm desperate to sell it. So there are certain ways. It's not so much for myself, but I feel that writers have to be given a certain due. And if I don't insist, then who will? So
Sure.
it's not like I mean, it's an investment. It's not like they're giving me money. They are hopefully going to make a lot of money on it, but they have made the investment, and I really want to thank them because they have paid quite well, and not just the money. The contract itself is very good in terms of the credit issues which have happened with me in the past, but they were very clear that opening credits, full frame story, and this thing, little things, and even the announcement of the movie when they said we are making Revolution 2020.
Sure.
So I think it's a very modern approach they're doing it now as per international standard. So I was very happy with the deal.
Fantastic. Now, for 3 Idiots, that is 5 point someone, I believe you were paid, I think, 10 lakh rupees. That was the...
That unfortunately became public.
Right.
Because
But I'm sure that it must be going into...
it's a lot more.
It must be going into
But
crores.
you have to remember, Faridoon, that...
Is it in crores?
Now what is this? Like a KBC A, B, C, D?
No, because you have a very keen business sense. I'm sure that you must have...
It's a good number, and it's anybody's guess. But you have to realize that when the 5 point someone deal was done,
Sure.
it was done in 2005 when the book had 5 point someone had just come out,
Right.
and it had sold 20,000 copies. And at that time, I remember I'd sold it to the Vinod Chopra Productions, and they were making Parinita, and I was paid close to what some of the other technicians or others, even actors, like it was a very comparable number. If you compare to the cinema of that time in
Sure.
2005, numbers used to be very different. Plus my own credibility was I had written only one book which had sold 20,000 copies. Today when Revolution is sold, it has sold 8 lakh copies in the first month, and I have a readership of more than 1 crore, which itself hopefully will bring people to the theatres, So it's a totally different level. I mean, you can't really compare, but like I said, it's not about the money, honey.
I think the film has a potential because you're talking about Banaras and
Yes.
जैसे we discussed the last time around, जैसे आपने बोला था that B and C centers को आप tap करना चाह रहे हैं, but this is a ready-made film for that
This
that
is,
context.
and yes, in fact, I would just like, for example, Two States, which is a very successful book. 2 years back, first month sales were around 4-5 lakhs, but this is around 7-8 lakhs. Of course, there's a growth in my own readership, but I thought actually was worried for Revolution because the BC center type of book, but of course A centers people have also liked it, but we really needed a story, I feel, for the B and C centers, which is a really dedicated story for them. Typically in our films what we do is good stories are for A centers, and for B, C centers it's action movie or just we believe that the B and C centers don't really like good stories, but that's not the case. We have to give stories which work for them, and I believe Revolution will work for them, and it can then become very big. Like you said, there are much more BC centers than A centers.
Fantastic. You've had some reviews from your friends, and I think Shashi Tharoor has written a review in Outlook, and Pratish Nandi has written
Yes.
a review in India Today. Both of them have praised your book, and they have said nice things
Salman
about
Khan
it.
and all.
Yeah.
The pressure to say that Salman, but I read somewhere the best artists are in the world are those that when you see their work, you feel it's so easy. I can
effortless.
do it. It's effortless.
Anyone can write it. That's what
Anyone
they say
can
about
write
you.
it. Anyone can act like Salman. But to create that screen presence, to turn an ordinary situation, right from his, I remember Salman's one scene, Maine Pyar Kiya, I think he's talking to his mother about the girl and chiloing matar, and he says, "Kya wo matar chilegi?" It's such an ordinary scene, but he made it so interesting. Right from those days to Dabang, where there's a fight going on and the phone rings and he says, "Ringtone acha hai."
Right.
I mean, you may think it takes no effort, but I haven't seen many people being able to do scenes like that and make the whole theater go crazy. And I think he's great. I mean, to be compared to him, I mean, he's been working for 25 years and I'm just on the outside writing on pen and paper. I mean, it's huge. But I agree the comparison was not very accurate. It's very different.
Right.
See, I don't think I'm like, you can't say that I know them. There is no question. Shashi launched my book 2 states, but you know, it doesn't. I mean, these are Outlook and India Today. These are not small magazines. These are our leading magazines, and they have given many bad reviews to me. And when a bad review is given, I take it. But if by chance somebody has given a good review, and that too, it's not a full praise review, you know, it's a very fair review. Shashi says this book written in awkward English will be read by a lot of people. So he's not really praising, he's calling my English awkward. I might, if I wanted, I could have taken, you know, why is he calling it awkward? But so is Pritish. Pritish says it's like Salman and they don't put an effort, but that's not correct. So in fact, Pritish told me that I've written this review and I'm scared that you'll be upset, because he said some not so nice things also in that review. But firstly, it doesn't really matter. You know, what matters is what my readers feel. And I think both Pritish and Shashi are of a stature that, you know, they have taken on, like Pritish was a journalist before and he's taken on the establishment. He doesn't have to please me. You know, he can take on the guy, Indira Gandhi.
No, I'm not saying that he's pleasing you. I'm saying that some people may say that it's a buddy kind of review.
People may say buddy kind of review, but it's not. If it is buddy, he should have praised me more. He should have said.
No, definitely. Ultimately,
he should have said it's the best book ever written.
Ultimately, it is what people saying. The ordinary people are saying that's what counts, and that is shows. Now, talking about the book and the movie version of it, you have 3 main characters in Gopal, Aarti, and Raghav.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you thought of possible actors?
We just
do you have a wish list?
We fooled around on Twitter by asking people.
So what is the?
Oh, this everybody. You know, there's everybody. Luckily, this time, you know, the Gopal character, it doesn't need to be a particular. He can be played by any of the young actors.
Sure.
I think Gopal and Aarti are the very critical roles. I mean, especially Gopal's role is a very critical role. Raghav's also a good role, but it's a more, you know, he's a more upright, straight character. But the Gopal and Aarti role is going to be, because both of them are grey characters. They are the anti-hero kind of. And I think there was a time where many anti-hero movies came, and it's been a long time since they've come.
Aarti is definitely manipulative.
Yeah,
you are somewhere as well. She is definitely manipulative.
Yes, so
she goes with the flow.
She is real.
She is real, yeah.
She's real.
I think that's how most Indian
and
girls
I think I
will be.
wanted to. That's why when people say you keep writing love stories, this is where I'm bringing the difference. That this time the girl is, and everybody, and I think that's how people are, selfish and caring at the same time. Nobody is unconditionally in love anymore. Everybody looks at their own thing. How is the guy doing? Is he doing well in life or not? You know, is he giving me the time and attention or not? Am I happy with him? Can I love him? It's no longer, oh, I love him and I'm going to love him till I die. Sorry, that doesn't happen. And same for the guys. So that role is a little difficult to play, because, you know, and I think we have many good actors who can, and they will have a great time playing it, which is that, is this girl good or bad? Is Gopal good or bad? Is he a good person? That is the big question in the book. And I think I'm hoping
that you answer in the last line.
Yeah, but you know, is he? It's not very clear. And is Aarti a good person or not? Is Raghav a good person or not? Because they all are selfish and caring. And I think that makes the story work. That makes the answers not so clear. And I think that's where the movie adaptation will come. I think UTV is very keen to take obviously younger actors. They're also very keen to.
But what are the actors that you got in your Twitter poll?
Oh, all over, right from Ranveer to Shahid to the other new Ranveer to, I mean, people say anything. People say Shah Rukh, Salman also. So, you know, it's really not, that's not how it's going to work. I think what they're going to do is get a director first.
Any tentative timeline for starting of the movie, the release, anything that you have any idea on?
Well, I mean, they hope to, I'm guessing in a year's time they will go on the floors, because
in a year's time,
because there is no adaptation done yet, so there is no screenplay yet.
So you'll be part of adaptation?
That again depends on the director, and I can help out, but I have found that I do better when I do a new story than just adapting my own. I find it less satisfying, and my readers also want me to write a new book. So I don't mind being one of the writers, but I don't want to be the main writer.
Okay, because film writing is different from
It's
from novel
different and
writing.
it's my own story. I've done it. I have been with Gopal and Raghav and Aarti for 2 years. I don't want to be with them for 2 more years. I want to be with somebody else now.
Fantastic. And the actress of the film should be, I think, very, very pretty, because Aarti's character, if you see Chetan's descriptions, is ethereally beautiful, and the kind of clothes that she wears and the kind of effect that it has. So, do you have any wish list for any actresses? No?
Oh,
You've described
I'll get into trouble if I mention
Acha?
names. Yeah, because
Yeah, I understand that.
because of you know how it is. We work with these people. So although as a reader it's fun to comment, oh, you know, she will make a good Aarti and she'll make a good Aarti and she'll make a good Gopal. I'm not in Bollywood really, but I'm in Bollywood Hungama. But in the sense, I work with these people, and if let's say I say one name and that person is not available,
And you have friends with so many of them.
yeah, and especially Twitter. I mean, everybody's on Twitter these days, so they are all following each other, and I don't want to get into trouble with the actresses.
Yeah, many times the actors have told us कि अगर मैंने एक का नाम ले लिया तो फिर बाकी सब जो हैं वो मेरे पीछे पड़ जाएंगे कि मेरा नाम क्यों नहीं
Why
लिया?
not me? And it's not, and we would love to work with everybody. So my simple answer is go to UTV and they'll cast you if they feel you're right. And I think what I can promise you is the story is going to really be a great challenging role, and it's going to connect with people, because already 8 lakh people in 1 month, it's not a joke. So when you have, by the time the movie comes out, we'll have couple of crore people who've read the book, and you know that itself will be great expectations from the movie, I think.
And you can have some I think, interesting physical intimacy scene as well in the film.
That is something, you know, we have to discuss with the producer, because I tend to, in the book, I tend to go a little more explicit than what our movies normally allow.
Obviously.
So I am learning that you can't really do that in our movies, and it's quite a bit of that in Revolution. You know, it's infidelity story.
Sure.
I feel if it's an infidelity story, you can't really hide the intimate stuff under the carpet completely. But
Because very, I think, pivotal to the
it's
to the
pivotal
plot as well.
But let's see how much skin show is required. That I think there is flexibility on that. I
Obviously,
think-
Acha, you know, I have a question, because since I've read the novel, and you know what happens is that the thought process of Gopal, especially when he's thinking in his own mind, and it is there on paper, many of the dialogues that he's thinking aloud, and while he's saying something else and he's thinking something else. Do you think from that perspective that there should be a voiceover in the background, something like that? I'll give you an example. It may be a bit maybe a bit cheesy example, but this is something that many of the youngsters can identify with in a way.
Yeah.
That when you say that there is this love-making scene, and the character says that, why do girls wear such tight jeans?
Yeah.
You know.
So, oh God, I embarrass myself sometimes on the stuff I write. Yes. So how do you show that? Right. And it's a challenge, and that's why adaptation is a totally different skill, especially for books that are written in first person.
Sure.
Because in the book, the thoughts of the narrator are there. So yeah, you could do it with a voiceover, or if the actor is good, he could emote it. He could, when the girl's not looking, he could just show an expression to show that, you know, how it's very difficult to remove or something like that.
Right.
But when he's facing the girl, he's all normal. So it depends how the director and actor does it. But yes, those lines make the book, and those should be kept. And how that will be kept is the challenge, and that I always find that is one of the biggest challenges.